did I get that one to do that? Huh. Huh. Cool. Dang it. All right, hello everybody. Let me turn on the light. All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the stream. Hope you're having a good day today. Let's get the other AirPod in. Why not? Like on the old phone. All right. The Wendy's. All right, you guys. What up? We're back. Everybody's having a good day today. Welcome back into the stream. Today, February 18th, 2026. I know I'm literally Mr. Excuses. But I've been have a crazy life stuff going on with lots of changes. I'm moving out of my apartment, so I've been having to box up stuff and cancel all my services and get all that situated. And I had to get a license, so I had to get a license for the state of California. So I had to go through all that process and citizenship in California. It's just residency or whatever, and go through all that hoops, and then I had to go through like some stuff with the courthouse with my ID and everything, and so I just had to like get all this stuff situated. But now we're looking pretty good. We've got things situated for the most part, so we actually can do some coding some more. So today we have some time today to jump on and do some programming today. So welcome. I appreciate you guys being patient with me as I'm kind of doing on and off streams this month, and most likely into next month, as I'm transitioning out of this apartment into different living situations and potentially other arrangements and things like that. More to come on that. Appreciate everybody being here. All right. So last time Last time we left off on finishing chapter 10. So we completed chapter 10 its entirety with notes and all. So if you missed that stream, or not its entirety, but a reading of chapter 10. So if you missed that stream, be sure to check it out. Oh, come on. Why do they do that? It's so annoying. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Cool. We should be good now. Nice. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get into this one. So we left off on, we finished chapter 10 reading, right? Which is all about program organization. Gave us some examples of some cool, code and whatnot. And so we read the questions and answers, and now we're on the exercises. So we've got only 7 exercises here. So maybe we can complete the exercises in their entirety today. That would be a pretty cool feat, wouldn't it, guys? Wouldn't it? 1 second here. Let me go to my dashboard right quick. Live. Okay. We're chilling. Okay. All right, let's get into this. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Let's go ahead and see if we can get through these exercises today. This is going to be Chapter 10, C Programming, a Modern Approach, second edition by K.N. King. Exercises for Chapter 10. Let's go ahead and do a command here. Let's cd into Chapter 10. Let's go. Do we already have exercises? Yes, we do. cd Chapter 10 exercises. Let's do for I in, I will do 1 to 7. We're going to make dir for chapter 10 exercise, and then we'll do this bad boy here. I, like such. Oh, shoot. How do I do this? Oh, hold on. Let me go like this. Delete this. We want to say for this, and then we're going to say this, but we'll come back and delete this up front here. There we go. So now we have 1 through 7 there. Nice. Now let me just reuse this code and just do this, and we'll say touch this dot C. Cool. So now we have our exercises here. All right. Okay. Let's get going. Who's in here? Anybody in here chatting? No chats yet. Dang. Where's everybody? It's my own fault. It's my own fault. I haven't been streaming as much. Okay, exercises. Number 1. The following program outline shows only functions defined, definitions, and variable declarations. For each of the following scopes, list all variable and parameter names visible in that scope. Okay, cool. So we want all the variable and parameter names in the following scopes of the f function. Okay. So, right, the in the scope of that of just that function. The main function. So the thing is we have this int a out front, which I think is accessible to all of these because it is a global kind of a variable in its own sense in C, right? So my gut feeling is trying to say, okay, let's do something like this. A, we'll say variables, we'll say parameters. So the variables are going to be A and C, and parameters are just what, B? So B is the G function, right? So if we do something similar and say variables, right? So A is visible to the G to this function because it's defined globally, right? It just is that's how that works. Let's check back at our notes. External variables, right? We wanted to look back at external variables. Outside the body of any function, global variables, static storage duration, just like local variables have been declared. A value stored in an external variable will stay there indefinitely. An external variable has file scope is visible from the point declaration to the end of the enclosing file. Yeah, you can access top inside of a function with the outside. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think that's right. So A is accessible to all of these functions, but they have functions inside that are accessible, and some might have blocks inside that have different scopes as well. So the variables for the G function are going to be A, D, so E is declared inside of the G function, even though there is no, logical sense for this block to there's no conditional statement happening here, right? So this happens automatically. So I think E is also one of these. Those brackets are just trying to kind of throw you off, maybe. It's not like an if, right? And then parameters, I guess, would just be it has none. No. C is the block in which E is declared. Variables A, D, and I think this is just that, right? You guys have any what do you guys think? Anybody out there? Obviously this is null as well. Do we for C and B here? What do we think, everybody? We want to have a discussion here. Anybody know the C code, the book at the back of their hand? The manuscript. I'm not totally sure. I'm gonna need to get some more clarity on these ones. And then in the main function. So in the main function, the variables visible are a and f, but the parameters are null. Anybody have I'm not exactly told this. I'm not super sure. I'm not super confident. I'm kind of just. I don't want to go to the orb yet for some more clarity. I want to maybe see if there's anybody here that has some words of wise for this problem. Anybody have any tips or tricks for this one? Nope. Let me see if I can scroll over a little bit in this guy. Hey, who is that? I forgot to put back on the alerts in chat. How's no one chatting? Yo, what the heck is going on? I'm gonna chat if no one's gonna chat. There we go. Oh, someone fine. Hey, what's up? The solution. Let me move the chat over. Mm. How should I put it? Like right here is a pretty good spot. And it's just hard because it's on two different pages here. Okay, we might have to hit the orb here for some more clarity. Okay, let's say let's give a prompt here. Say I'm working on a C exercise. These are my answers. And then I'll try to see. I don't know if it's not probably going to copy all of this here. Try again. Okay, so A, inside F, what is the globals? A, big perimeter, yes, local. What's the visible? A, D, E. A, D, E again. Oh, sweet, we got it right. That's rock. A cruise. How's it going? I'm just having fun. I just I learn and learn until I find a topic that sparks an interest of a certain hobby of mine that I want to make into code, and then we build that project, and I keep learning and learning and learning and learning, and then I get an idea about a project because of something I do or something in my life that's going on, and then we pause and build that for a little bit and get back into learning and go to blah blah blah, and it just keeps repeating. That's kind of what we've been doing. All right, so these are the answers, my answers for number 1. Pretty cool. All right, let's do number 2 here. Oh wait, there's only 3 exercises? Oh, there's only 3 exercises. Oh, let's go. This chapter is cheese. Cheese. Want the cheese. We're cheese in this one. We deserve it after those hard ones that we've went through the last couple of chapters. Like chapter 8, oh, that one was brutal. Some of those extra programming projects were annoying. Okay, number 2. Number 2. The following program outline shows only function definitions and variable declarations. So we have 2 integers declared here, b and c. We have a void function, which takes in a void function f, which takes in no parameters. We define or declare int b and d, so very similar to the last process. For each of the following scopes, list all variables and parameter names visible in that scope. If there's more than one variable parameter with the same name, indicate which one is visible. Oh, so this is probably similar to the last one, but we need to now identify anything that has similar values, right? So let's do variables. Inside, so a is the f function. So in the f function, we have variables b and d that are local to the f. So we have the external variable. So we'll say external variable. We'll say local variables. We'll say parameters. So the external variables is c, right? Because this integer b overrides this one. So b and d. And the parameter is null. There's none here for f. Okay, let's try this. Let's try it again. External variables for b, which is the g function. So this next function here. So external variables, we have a c that overrides this one. We accept this b as our external variable. So this one has a as a parameter, but also a I think the int a that comes later so what do you guys think? So the local variable for the g function is going to be c, a, and d with a parameter of a. So we're going to say to this gets overwritten by local variable a. Maybe? because this gets declared here, or defined, or declared. It takes in int a, and then you declare int a here. Because this would copy whatever was passed into this parameter variable a, and then you're declaring another a here, which would override the previous declaration in this scope of G function. What's going on, Nassim? Appreciate you for joining me today. If you guys are new here, let me know more about you. Let me know about your coding, what you've been coding, working on. Or if you're in school, let me know if you're in school. That's pretty cool. I wish I was back in school learning this stuff. That'd be fun. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I work as a chemist for a biotech company for a little over 4 years now. It's been a fun time. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for joining me. We've been teaching ourselves how to code for about a little over a year and a half. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, so in C, which is the block in which A and D are declared, so the parameters, there's null parameters because this block has no parameters. Local variables are A, D, and C, and external variables would be B. I'm definitely open for discussion on these answers because I'm kind of I'm not confident. I'm learning here, so if you guys have some feedback, feel free. So the main function now has external variable of B, local variables of C and D, and null parameters. Okay, let's take our answers. So for the f function in problem A, visible inside f the B is local, the C is global, and the D is the local one. There are no parameters. So the correct answer is external variable is C, local is B and D. Nice. Function G in problem B. So visible is B and global, C, A, C hides the global C. Parameter A is visible. Because D and the inner A do not belong to the entire function. They belong only to the inner block. They're not visible to the whole G function. Really? Huh. So the A for the G function, this inner A, how does that make sense? How? I don't, is that right? So B, so in C, B is global. C, A, and D. Oh, is this a function? No, it has a semicolon. It's not a function. So B is global in C, okay. C is local to G, yeah. A, inner block version. A, parameter's null. And I think that one's right. B is global. C and D are local. And B. If anyone has some input on B, let me know. What's up, Ultimate Race? How's it going? Just for fun. Why not? Okay. Number 3. Suppose that a program only has one function, main. How many different variables named I could this program contain? Well, you can only have I'm torn between 1 or infinite. Because you can say I in like a for loop, right? And you can call that I again another for loop and it just overrides that previous value. So I guess that's the same variable. You don't have two I's. So part of me wants to say infinite, but part of me wants to also say 1. How many different variables named I could this program contain? So different variables named I. In one scope of one thing, you can't, that's running like at that line, you can only have one defined I. It just gets overwritten anywhere else in any other scope. I'm gonna say infinite. Survey says. What do you guys think? Anybody have any answer? I'm going to say, well, I am torn between 1 and infinite, as you can technically declare I as many times as you want to different values in nested scopes, maybe until some sort of, Stack Overflow or something. But it will only be able to run one eye in that scope wherever it is. Nested that has braces? That's my question. Is a block just anything nested that has braces? A block is a group of statements wrapped in braces. So they don't have to be preceded by logic. Like if else, or a keyword. This is where people get slightly sloppy with terminology. No, a block does not have to be okay. So that's where my confusion was lying with some of these questions earlier, because I thought that the overarching function was able to kind of penetrate into the block, but looks like if you can kind of create little environments called these blocks with nested braces where you can in languages like C plus Java and JavaScript, you can write this. This is still a block. It has braces and contains statements and creates a new scope. So what actually defines a block? Sequence of statements enclosed in braces that form a single compound statement and create a new scope. The if, for, etc. just use blocks. They don't define what a block is. If it says I need one statement, a block means you bundle many statements into one. That bundle is a block. The deeper insight is important. Braces themselves don't automatically mean block. They only mean block when they enclose statements. Well, yeah, so like an array definition is not a block. Like those braces are there's some different contexts of curly braces, right? So here's the cleaning rule. If it contains executable statements, can stand alone where a statement is allowed and create scope to block. It's just grouping data. So functions with blocks inside can't see the variable. Code outside a block cannot see variables declared inside that block. That includes functions. Well, yeah, because obviously, with functions, that's fairly straightforward. But I guess it's something like with Python that we don't have to really worry about. So I'm trying to. This is kind of the first time I've really had to kind of think about this. I mean, there is scope in Python, but not like with these curly brace deliberations, but just like indents and stuff, right? And logic. So functions with blocks can see. Okay. So let's go back to what we were working on before. If a program only has one function main, how many different variables named I could it contain? There's no language imposed limit on nesting depth in C. You can nest int I into many different block scopes. Each block introduces a new scope. Each scope declares its own int I. So in theory, the answer is unbounded except effectively infinite. There is no maximum in the C standard. So I mean, our logic was spot on thinking that we were on the right track. We were that was what we were coming across. Okay, so Um, like, I don't know how you would say this. It could be like unbounded or infinite. There is no maximum limit. Right, something like that. What's up, James Berg? What's up, Clary? Nested scopes are a little niche, but nice to know. I usually use them when I have to use a lot of similar things with temporaries in a row and don't want to keep thinking of a new name for them. Hmm. Okay, thanks, Vinny. What's up, dude? What's up, everybody? Do we want music in the background, or we like it kind of chill without it? Right, so you could technically have something kind of like this, right? Etc., etc., etc. Right. Now, in each of these scopes only can have, it won't have, you can't like get reference to the previous because it's been localized to this scope, right? So it's kind of a little bit of a funny question. Different variable names could icon this name. Okay, nice. That was number 3. So actually 4 through 7 we don't need. I didn't realize that was only 3 problems in this. Exercises. Chill, chill, chill. Okay, programming projects. Oh boy. Should we do a few of these maybe before we bounce out? Well, how long have we been going for? Only 42 minutes? Scoping is what's good. That's why I always make things global, like at the top. Any scope can access. It's a clutch idea. Yeah, I've been having to. That's honestly been one of the biggest learning curves. Honestly, is the indentation, the syntactical difference is indentation versus curly braces with a lot of this. That's honestly where I get a lot of my errors from, coming from Python. But we've been getting better. That's for sure. We've been having some one shots. We need like a soundboard. We've been thinking about getting a soundboard or something so we can have a sound effect when we one shot a compile without any errors. One shot. All right. Let's go ahead and. I mean, let's go ahead and try one. Why not? Screw it. Screw it. This is the session. So we'll do chapter 10. Programming projects. Programming projects. Let's go out of this thing. What's the command cd go back one file? Back one root file, if possible. One directory back. I know you can like cd minus, but then it goes like back too far sometimes. I don't know. I can't remember it. Who knows it? Okay, let's go cd number 10. Programming. What? Oh, it's not in here. Okay. And then we can use our little guy here and do. Why does it keep doing that? Okay, for oh, I in 1 2 7. What is going on? Why is it? This is so frustrating. For I in 1 to 7. Make the 7 program, or chapter 10, sorry. Pull this back. Okay. Nice. Okay, here we go. Number 1. CD space dot dot. CD space dash goes to the previous current directory, and CD dot dot goes to the previous parent. Okay, that's what I needed. Let's try that. CD. Oh, you guys are awesome. Let's go. You guys are clutch. Okay. Okay, cool. Here we go. Let's try it out. Number 1, programming projects. This is C Programming, A Modern Approach, Chapter 10, second edition by K.N. King. That's all I know, Vinny. That's all I know, my man. I just learned how to do those one things. I was tired of making the files myself. We're growing out neckbeard every time we do those commands, though. I can feel it really like surging out, neckbeard. Okay. Number 1, modify the stack example of section 10.2 so that it stores characters instead of integers. Next, add a main function that asks the user to enter a series of parentheses and or braces, then indicates whether they're not or properly nested. Enter parentheses and or braces. Parenthesis, parenthesis, open, open, closed, open, close, open, open, close, close, close. So we are, hold on. One open, that one closes that one, that closes, that leaves that one open, that one's closed, and then that one's finally closed. So all of these are nested properly. Ask the program to read characters, have it push each left parenthesis, or left brace. When it reads a right parenthesis or brace, have it pop the stack and check if the item is probably matching parenthesis or brace. Okay, this is like the LeetCode problem, no? When the program reads the new line character, have it check whether the stack is empty. If so, the parentheses or braces are matched. Or if stack underflow is ever called, the parentheses or stack underflow is called. If stack overflow is called, have the program print the message stack overflow terminate immediately. Oh my god. Ugh, jeez. Okay, so 10.2. We gotta go to our stack example. Okay, let's copy this into our code here. So we're going to include the standard io.h or .bool, standard bool. We're going to define the stack size as 100. We have some external variables of int contents, which is an array of size, stack size. We have an int top, which is going to equal to 0 to start. Right, this will be an index to track where the top of our stack lies. So the current most available space is an index 0. So void make empty is a function that takes in no parameters. And what it does is it resets top back to 0. Now it doesn't check if something is in the stack or not, but that's interesting. Oh, we have an isEmpty bool here. Okay, so we have a bool which returns true or false, or 0 or 1 for isEmpty, but takes in no parameters. And it references the top external variable and returns 1 or 0 if top is equal to 0, represented as a Boolean. we have another Boolean function which is full, which takes in no parameters, and we return the external variable top if it's equal to stack size. So another Boolean 0, 1 return if top is equal to stack size, meaning that this is full. We have a void push function which takes an integer I, and if is full, the function is full is true, right? We're going to call stack overflow. Else contents of top plus plus in line here, or no, not in line here, after this is equal to I. So we'll set the current value of top equal to I, and then after this line execute, increase top. If the plus plus was prefaced before top, it would do the top increase first, I believe, right? Rather than at the next like sequence break or whatever it is. We then have a pop function which takes in no parameters and has a similar setup. So if is empty is true, right? What we're going to do is call stack underflow, right? Meaning we're trying to pop from an empty stack, which can't be done. And then else we're going to return contents at less top. Less top. So this will happen. So let's say that the stack is full, and so our top value is 100. It's zero indexed, right? So you'd have to reduce top first and then pull that number, right? It's 0 through 99 with 100 places. So you'd have to reduce top in line before you pull from contents at top. So if it's full, where top is equal to 100, and you call pop, top would be reduced here, and then contents at top would be pulled. What's going on, Robin? How's it going? What is this? What do you do? Well, right now I'm just learning how to, learn C programming. We've been learning, teaching ourselves programming and computer science for a little over a year and a half now. Kind of learned the basics into intermediate, Python, and was able to build some pretty cool projects. And now we're kind of diving into C because I wanted to know further about Python and what was actually being done, and then wanted to dive deeper. So here we go. Here we are. Thanks for being here. I work as a chemist for a biotech company. I manufacture and formulate biological controls that are used in like advanced immunoassay testing and stuff. It's pretty cool. I build batch leaders of like big batches of solutions that are then like kitted down and sold to customers. And these solutions are pretty like advanced. It takes like a couple months to build. And so I wanted to learn code to help out with my work and stuff, and we were successful in building and implementing some custom scripts and software in Python for my current formulation group, and automating some formulations, which was really cool. And yeah, anyways, we're diving deeper into programming here, and by learning C, and it's been fun so far. Okay, so that is this function. So we don't have this. So I guess I'm going to define this as void stack overflow void printf the stack error stack overflow stack is full. Something like that. And then we can do void stack underflow. Oh. Did I really do that like that? With void parameters, and do printf for error stack underflow. The stack is empty. Like that. And I think we say like exit with 1. Is the exit function in standard? Look up exit in C. It's in the standard library. We probably need to also okay. Yeah, Claire, we got that. Thanks, my boy. Or gal. You have to let me know. Sorry. Okay. Now let's go back to our problem here. Modify the stack so it stores characters instead of integers. Char stack size. This is going to return back, pop is going to return back a char. And push is going to take in a char for this char. Do you want to add? Okay. Yeah. I mean, we're doing C99 in the book, C89 and C99, but I'm sure that my version is the newest version that's out right now. I didn't modify anything, so it's probably just C99 compatible. I honestly don't know, so I'm sorry, Benny. I'm kind of ignorant in that. Again, I'm learning here, so. Um, and I'll also preface, I do preface this all the time. I'm not here to teach or whatever. If you happen to learn something from me learning, that is fantastic. I applaud you. But I do look dumb sometimes. I do eat crap and eat dirt and blunder live, and that's just part of the honest learning process. So I try to be pretty transparent through doing that. Um, I try not to you can't edit or chop things up here, so I can't make it look like I solved the leak code problem in 10 minutes when it took me really 2 hours. It's you sit there and see my every attempt or whatever. So I really try to just be honest with how this learning is and the reality of it, because I found that when I was trying to first get some clarity on maybe where I should start, it was pretty daunting, or it may not daunting. It seemed maybe easier than it was by what these people alluded to as, oh, it took me 3 months to gain this mastery, and all of a sudden I got a job at a big tech company, and it's like it's just like I don't know. I question how much was actually learned and retained and can be applied. I don't know, because not like we've been grinding like super heavy, but we've been doing it like a year and a half here. Pretty heavily in our spare time, and we're just cracking the surface here. So, I mean, yeah, but some people have been doing it for college majors, and they can't even find work sometimes, and so it's, you know, there's levels of this thing. No, dude, I didn't take it wrong at all. You're fine, man. Let's try it. GCC dash version. Apple Clang version 17. Does that say anything? That's just the version of Clang that we're using, right? The GCC, the compiler we're using. Now, is it, well, technically is, because the way you write C, it's the way that the compiler does it. So the compiler has to follow the standards, right? Whoever writes the compiler has to, write in the errors and whatnot that follow the standards like C90. That's where the standards apply, correct? So the version is of the compiler, correct? Is that where the or like the standard applies to the compiler, and then you obviously write code that satisfies the compiler, so everybody's happy. Am I thinking about that right? Anyways, let's see here. So what else do we have to do? Um, so modify the stack example so it stores characters instead of integers. Cool. Then add a main function that asks the user to enter a series of parentheses and or braces. Okay. We're going to call printf. Say enter parentheses and slash or braces. And then we'll scanf. Or no, we'll go while C is equal to get char, and that is not equal to \n, right? So while we're going to continually get char, and while that value is not equal to the new line character, and we'll get all of the values the user enters. Now, for every character that we're looping on here, using the get char, we have access to C here. So we'll need to say what char C actually. Now, I don't know if you can declare that in the loop like that actually, so we might need to say char C here and then put this in. Because it might try to declare char C every single time. When we don't need to declare it, we could just redefine it. Hey, thank you so much, Tuin. Appreciate you so much. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, next what we got to do is, okay, so let's just think here. So we need to ask if is empty, right? If it's empty, So we would want to push characters on if if it's empty. So we no we don't want to check if it's empty though, because empty can mean of two things, meaning there's nothing there at the start or the middle, or at the end there's nothing there and we still have a character. So we probably don't want to start with that condition. So we want to push characters that are the opening symbols, right? So if C equals to quote opening brace, or C equals to quote opening brackets, or C equals to quote opening parenthesis, what we're going to do is stack dot contents. Or we're going to do push C, right? Else if so as the program reads, have it push each left character or left brace. Oh, we're not doing brackets? Okay. When it reads a right message, we have pop this tag and check at the end. Pop this in my ear. Oh, so you never actually push the closing things. Okay. Gotcha. So else if well, if it's not any of the characters, we're gonna need to like exit and say invalid input or something. So maybe should we write that conditional in? But whatever. We'll just say so if it's opening, we're gonna push. If it's not opening, we're going to call um, I don't want to say top because we already have one, so I'll just say T is equal to pop, right? So we'll pop the function, the value, the thing. And then we'll say well, we don't need to pop it necessarily. We can't use negative indexing actually. So yeah, we do need to pop the value at where top is. But so maybe we can say actually oh, it's closing. We need to pop it. That's the opening one. So opening is going to be equal to contents at index of top, right? And then we'll say so how can we say it's a matching pair, right? It's not going to be equal to a value. So if it's equal to this and if opening is equal to the opening brace and opening oh no and C, the character we're evaluating is equal to the closing bracket as parenthesis. Then we're going to do pop. We're just going to pop the value. And we're not actually going to save it and return it. We'll just pop it, discard it. I mean, we could pop it here, but then we'd have to push it back on if we didn't want it. So this is a conditional. Then we'll say or, right, opening is equal to the opening curly brace, right, and C is equal to the closing curly brace, right, we're going to pop. So we'll pop if that's true. So if that's not true, we leave the value where it is. Are we only meant to use push? I was trying to avoid using pop here and prematurely because I didn't want to have to push it back on. But that's just kind of the thing I was doing. Should I do it the other way? When it reads a right parenthesis or brace, have it pop the stack. Okay, so I guess it says have it pop the stack. So we'll pop the stack, whatever. We'll pop the stack. Right, we'll pop the stack. If opening, we'll just continue. Else content, or no, push the character back on, not C. So if you push on all opening characters, and you come up across, so you push on, let's say you push on opening brace and opening parenthesis. So you have brace parenthesis. Then you come across a brace. You pop off the parenthesis. It's like, oh, these aren't the same. So you would stick it onto the stack, even though it's a closed brace. Right. So now you have open brace, open parenthesis, closed brace. So if it's not, the parentheses slash braces aren't properly nested. Okay, so if this is not true, so you'd come across this, boom, push, this gets hit. Oh, because yeah, if you push something, oh. So if you do curl open brace, open parenthesis, close brace, close parenthesis. I guess there is pairs, but they're just like Venn diagrammed. Which I don't think you could do. Right? The edge cases are kind of getting me here. So the open parentheses, open parentheses, close. So you pop this. Oh, this is a pair. And you discard, you keep going, and this gets pushed. Oh, so you would get rid of it if it is. Because it's popped. And now you're down here. Else, you don't want to push it on. You want to exit with, or call printf per right. Yeah, the Venn diagram isn't valid. Yeah, okay. It says as the program reads each character, have it push. So it is in the loop here, character by character. So you continue right? Yeah, that's kind of what it was saying, double D, right? So if this doesn't come true, you're screwed, right? It's automatically fail. So we're gonna print f parenthesis this slash braces are not nested properly, and then we'll exit here. So now it says, though, at the end of the loop, when the program reads the new line character, which is the end of our loop, have it check whether the stack is empty. So if is empty, right? Then it's all matched. Oh, okay. If not, the parentheses are not present. When the program reads the new line character, have it check whether the stack is empty. If so, everything's matched, and we can exit out of here. So, and then we can probably get rid of this real quick and see are nested properly. Else, if the stack is not empty, or if stack underflow is ever called, the parentheses slash braces aren't matched. So maybe I'll say we haven't done strings yet. Shoot. So I was going to set a message or something, but I'm going to have to just copy our. So let me say this, else break. Oh shoot, sorry. Take this, we'll say else break, and then it'll do this evaluation. If it's not empty, which it won't be, we'll just do this, and then we can return 0 here. Okay, so we print a prompt to our user, enter parentheses, enter braces, We have char C. I don't even need braces here. Right? So we read the user input until we hit the end of the line. If we have opening characters, then we push. If we don't have opening characters, then we pop. If the opening character is a parenthesis and the character that we are evaluating on from the user input is a closing parenthesis, or if it's opening brace and closing brace, if either of those cases are true, we will continue leaving the popped value right? What's going on, Rusley? I was thinking of learning dynamic programming. Nice, dude. Makes you want to learn that. Okay, so should we try it here? It's a function call. Oh. Error to undeclared stack overflow. Error call to undeclared verify stack overflow. Oh. Okay, that's right. No! Non-void function does not return a value. Line 46. That's just a warning. Oh, this call here. Oh yeah. So we're calling stack overflow and then yeah, it's kind of okay. Oh, come on. All right, let's try it one more time. Let's make this one not work. No way that shouldn't have worked. No. Oh, shoot. It shouldn't have worked. Dang it. Um, when it reads it right for the zero base, have it pop the stack. Pop the stack and check the line of pop information. If opening is equal to this, and char is equal to that, or opening. Parentheses, if is empty. Hmm. So it's just popping on everything. Oh. Nice. Nice. Cool. Okay, cool. I think that is that answer. I think we got it. So we have this one warning we get because Stack Overflow exits and doesn't return anything, and same with Stack Underflow. And we have a void function that returns nothing here. The Stack Overflow returns nothing. Oh, it's 47. It's here. Oh yeah, so I'm calling Stack Overflow, which returns nothing, even though char pop does return a char. Right? So that's the warning I'm getting. But other than that, I think that everything else is okay. At least for our test cases, it works. Let's do open, closed, open, 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 close, 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 open, close, open, open, closed, closed, open, open, closed, open, closed. That's paired there. That's open, 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 close, paired, open, close, paired, open, close, close, paired, paired, paired. Yeah, that should be all good. Yes, nested properly. Need some backslash ends though. And then let's try it one more time for a little bit, something longer. So let's go open, open, closed, open, closed, closed, open, closed, closed, open, open, closed, closed, open, 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 closed. Let's all leave it open there. Not properly nested. Nice. I thought I didn't recompile that. What if you enter letters? So that's what we'll have to do. That was a warning I thought about earlier. I mentioned earlier, and I said, should we write it in? I was like, oh, let's just come back to it. So what we'll have to say is this: if C is not equal to opening brace or or so if it's so should I use or and this is some or if it's or this or that. I think it might be and if it's not this and it's not this. But if it's not this and it's not this, but that would be interesting to know. But so if it is this and this, then do the else invalid. But if it's not that, I think it'd be or. So C is not equal to close. Would it be ors straight across? So if it's not equal to that, or it's not equal to that, or it's not equal to that, or it's not equal to that, then what you're going to do is something like that. Is this right? I want to check this. Think like a compiler. Suppose you do this. C is equal to open curly brace. Well, it's not equal to that. That is C not equal to that? Well, C is that. So that is true. C is not equal to, oh, so then it's false. So this evaluates to true. In every sense, this evaluates to true. Right? Yeah, it's and. That's, yeah, exactly. I had it earlier. I was teetering between and or. Okay, it's and, right? Because you want it to not default to whichever true statement is. If any of those statements are true, all of these have to be true in order for this valid to be. No, it can't be any of these. Okay, so then if we pile that, do like A, B, B, A, invalid input. Boom. Okay, I'm going to take this. Let's get some feedback here before we log off. Solid work. We implemented a real stack. Proper stock implementation, clean push logic, correct Boolean logic. Okay, cool. There's a little bit of something, some cleaning we could do, but overall it was pretty good. It's not terrible. There are some improvements, but for the general gist of the problem, I think it's acceptable. What do you guys think? So we just have our functions here for our basic implementation of a stack. And then we have a main function here that just reads over character input to match parentheses, open and closed. Cool. All right, y'all. All right, we'll come back tomorrow and keep going here. We did an hour and 40 minutes today. Completed all the exercises and one problem into the programming practice projects. Appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me for today. Thanks for all the subs. We gained like 20 subs today, or like 15 subs. So thank you guys so much for all the love. You guys are awesome. My name is Michael. I'm 27 years old. Got a degree in human biology, a minor in chemistry. Teaching myself how to code for a little over a year and a half now. Every day, pretty much almost every day, doing some sort of coding, whether it be on or off stream. But trying my best to record everything I do on stream, or through videos or whatever. We've been teaching ourselves, C programming here through C Programming: A Modern Approach, Second Edition by K.N. King. We're in chapter 10, which is about program organization or project organization. And we're here doing some of the post-chapter practice, completed all the exercises and one of the programming projects. So come back tomorrow where we'll work on the next 6 programming projects, 2 through 7, and we will call it there for chapter 10, because chapter 11 is going to be super nice because it's getting to pointers, you guys. So we're almost there to pointers to really kind of, I feel like this will really level up our capabilities in C, to be able to go from writing simple little funny scripts, solving little practice problems, maybe even actually maybe making some real world applications. This kind of might unlock some abilities for us. So appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me today. Again, you can find all the code that I have written here in my GitHub repo link down below. So check it out if you want to have access to all the solutions and my personal notes, which are very detailed. If you want to kind of read those rather than reading the chapter, or if you want to read the chapter, you can listen to it live from my stream, what gives like my full interpretations and reading, or you can listen to the condensed version, which is a kind of an audiobook style I chopped up. So let's go ahead and add these up. Completed, or say finished chapter 10 exercises started. Nice. All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here and hanging out. I'll see you tomorrow. Please like and subscribe if you had a good time, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys are awesome. Peace out, y'all.